I had been hungry all the years by Emily Dickinson, 1830 to 1886. I had been hungry all the years my noon had come to dine. I trembling drew the table near and touched the curious wine. 'Twas this on tables I had seen when turning hungry home. I looked in windows for the wealth I could not hope for mine. I did not know the ample bread, 'twas so unlike the crumb the birds and I had often shared in nature's dining room. The plenty hurt me, 'twas so new. Myself felt ill and odd, as berry of a mountain bush transplanted to a road. Nor was I hungry, so I found that hunger was a way of persons outside windows the entering takes away. So this is a poem by Emily Dickinson. She was an American poet. She was born in Amherst in Massachusetts, and she lived her whole life there. She was not a famous poetess during her lifetime, and indeed very few of her poems were published while she was alive. However, over recent years she has become a very important poet, and her poems are always filled with depth or mystery or various interesting things. She was a very keen gardener, and she was a recluse. She didn't come out much into society. Now, what's this poem all about? Well, this poem, at first glance, it's about being hungry, and all her life being hungry, and one day she's allowed to eat as much as she wants, but this doesn't make her feel good, and she doesn't enjoy it, and that her when she has the chance to eat whatever she wants, she can't. She's no longer hungry. But this poem goes much deeper. This poem is an extended metaphor which is talking about when you want something, it looks wonderful, but when you actually get it, then it's not what you expected. You don't feel the same, and the longing for something, the wanting of something, makes it interesting. But when you've actually got it, then it's of no interest. It's of very little interest or no interest at all. And it's all like here. She's always been hungry for food, but now that she can suddenly eat as much as she wants, she's not hungry anymore. So it's talking about wanting things, desiring things, appetites for things that they seem wonderful when you can't have them, when they're not yours, but when you actually get them, they are not the same. Maybe you want to be rich, and suddenly you are rich, and that just perhaps makes the struggle of life less important. It takes away a lot of the meaning. So I had been hungry all the years. So I'd always been hungry. My noon had come to dine, but now, today, this was my chance to eat as much as I wanted, to eat my fill. I trembling drew the table near and touched the curious wine. So she's trembling, she's frightened. She can't believe this is true. She's trembling with anticipation, she's trembling with wonder, she's shaking. And she touches the curious wine, something she's never had before. And I think she's wondering if all of this is real. So she's been hungry all her life, but now she has the opportunity to have as much food as she wants, and she can't believe this is true. But this is part of the metaphor. All of our lives we want different things, but then when we actually have the opportunity to get them, when we get them, what then happens? 'Twas this on tables I had seen, when turning hungry home, I looked in windows for the wealth I could not hope for mine. So all of this food on the table that was ready to eat, I'd seen this on the tables of the rich. I'd seen this looking through people's windows when I went home, but I was hungry. And walking home, I could see this abundance on the tables. And this was a wealth of food that I could not hope to be mine. This is something that would never be mine. So this is everything that she always wanted. And it is talking about the fulfillment of her desires, getting the things that she's always wanted, the things that she thought would never be hers. And the food is a symbol for anything that she desired, but this was something that she would never get. This was something that was out of her reach, and I think she's accepting the fact that other people have things, she doesn't. So what? I did not know the ample bread, so I didn't know what it was like to have huge amounts of food. 'Twas so unlike the crumb the birds and I had often shared in nature's dining room. So I'd often shared crumbs, just little bits of food, with the birds in the dining room of nature. So she's familiar with just little bits, and the little bits that nature gave. But I didn't know this idea of to eat until you are full. I didn't know what it was like to have my heart's desire, and it was so different from the way that I've always survived. And it's so different from what I've always eaten from nature, always with the birds. The plenty hurt me. 'Twas so new, myself felt ill and odd. So this abundance of food, it was bad for me. It was so new. I felt ill, I felt strange, that this was something that I felt out of place. As berry of a mountain bush transplanted to a road. And this is a lovely simile that she's saying that she felt like the berry in a bush on the mountain that's been transplanted into the middle of the road, and she feels out of place, that this is unfamiliar, this is perplexing, this is not her, this is not her comfort zone. And the plenty hurt me. It was just something so new. I felt ill. I felt odd. I was out of place. Nor was I hungry. So I found that hunger was a way of persons outside windows. The entering takes away. And I wasn't hungry anymore. All of my desire, the fulfillment of my desire had made my desire go away. I wasn't hungry. I found that I wasn't hungry now that I could eat as much as I wanted. I wasn't hungry now that I had my heart's desire, had the thing that I wanted. And I discovered that hunger, that wanting, that longing for things was a way of persons outside windows. So when you're outside the window looking in and you see the people eating and having everything they need, this is something that you only feel when you want things. The entering takes away, but when you have them, then you no longer want them. So looking at a banquet from outside a window, you're hungry, you want it, but then you go inside and you no longer want it now that it's yours. And this is talking about how when you get your heart's desire, you get what you want. Then this is one of the ironies of life, that when you actually have it, then you don't really want it anymore. It's not it's not what you imagined it was going to be. So, I Had Been Hungry All the Years by Emily Dickinson.